Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and today I'm going to be previewing the Houston Texans Week 5 matchup against the Atlanta Falcons as the Houston Texans look to win their third straight game. You know, the last time the Houston Texans won 3 games in a row was 2018, when the Houston Texans started out the 2018 season 0-3, and everybody were calling the Texans disappointments, and they were getting a lot of hate throughout the NFL. And they historically went on to win 9 straight games and were like the third team in NFL history to make the playoffs after starting out 0-3. They were like the third. It was either the third or fourth team. And so not only did they win 3 games in a row, but they won 3 sets of 3 games in a row. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. So they won 3 games in a row 3 times. So that was the last time the Houston Texans won 3 games in a row. And the Texans have a solid chance to do that again. Or not win 9 games in a row. I don't think that's possible. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just don't see it happening. But I do think there's a great chance the Houston Texans come out of Atlanta with a win and winning their third straight game. Houston Texans are looking to get some familiar faces back, coming off of the IR, starting with starting right tackle Titus Howard, who's been dealing with a hand injury, broken hand, and he's coming back. I know this is only special teams and it won't bring that big of an impact, but Cameron Johnston will be back, the punter who's been dealing with a calf injury and has been on IR. I know Ty Zenter, the punter, has stepped up for this Texans team, but Cameron Johnston is a way better punter than Ty Zentner. Also, Malik Collins, who's been dealing with some injuries throughout the week and missing some practices, came back to practice today. He's off the injured list. Not only that, but Laramie Tunsil returned to practice today, and it's looking like he's still questionable for Sunday's game against the Falcons, but it's looking like he should be able to play. So if Laramie Tunsil is able to go, Stroud has both of his tackles back, his left tackle Laramie Tunsil, and his right tackle Titus Howard, which would be two great additions for the Houston Texans on the offensive line. C.J. Stroud has not had Laramie Tunsil since Week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens in his first game in the NFL, and C.J. Stroud has never had Titus Howard. Titus Howard broke his hand before the start of training camp. Speaking of another tackle who's dealing with a hand injury, and that is Josh Jones, who's out for Week 5 against the Atlanta Falcons. Expected return is Week 6. Another player that's out, this one is on the defense, and it's a concussion injury. Man, have concussion injuries been bad to start out the season. And this one is a starter for the Houston Texans, and that's Christian Harris being out with a concussion. The starting linebacker, is out for Week 5 against the Falcons and expected to return Week 6. How about another linebacker who is questionable, Jake Hansen, who is a candidate to be a starter in replace of Christian Harris, is dealing with a neck injury. He was limited on practice on Friday and is questionable for Week 5. Obviously, Kendrick Green is out for a while. He's on IR, injured reserve with a meniscus injury. John Mechie, wide receiver, John Mechie III, is dealing with an illness. He is questionable for Week 5 at Atlanta. Juice Scruggs remains out. He will be back Week 6, though, against the New Orleans Saints. He's our starting center, and he's dealing with a hamstring injury. And then Malik Collins, starting defensive tackle, is dealing with the abdomen injury. It's looking like he might be able to come back for the Houston Texans, but he's still questionable for this week's game. Laramie Tunsil, who was a full participant in Friday's practice, is still questionable, but is looking like he should be able to go. Derek Stingley Jr. still in the IR, expected to return Week 9. Hassan Ridgeway still in the IR, expected to return Week 6. Same thing goes for Noah Brown, wide receiver, dealing with a groin injury, expected to return Week 6. Kenyon Green out for the season. Charlie Heck, I don't think he's returning. He's dealing with a foot injury, and it is said that it is expected to return Week 5, but I don't think that is true. And then obviously you got all the other players that are out for the season from this roster, like Scott Quisenberry and other players on this roster, Jesse Matthews, a couple other guys. So yeah, that is basically it for the injury report as of last updates for the Houston Texans. And getting into my game predictions for this game, I think this will be a hard challenge for the Houston Texans, matching up against a team that has Bijan Robinson. And the Texans haven't been the best at stopping the run this season. They did a good job against Najee Harris last week, but in week 2 against the Colts and Zach Moss and Anthony Richardson, they struggled. In week 3 against Travis Etienne, they struggled. So it's going to be interesting to see. Then they've given up a lot of touchdowns to the run this year. I don't know how they'll deal with Bijan Robinson. I'm hoping they're able to stop him, but even though I'm a Longhorns fan, and I think it might be hard. I have Bijan scoring 1 touchdown in this game. Ultimately, I have the Houston Texans still winning this game. I have the Texans winning 29-20 in a very close game. I have the Texans, C.J. Stroud, I have him having a great day. I have him throwing 245 passing yards with 2 passing touchdowns and also 1 rushing touchdown, his first rushing touchdown of his career. The 2 players I have him throwing touchdowns to, I have Tank Dell getting his his third career touchdown, and I have Robert Woods getting his first career touchdown as a Houston Texan. Obviously, Robert Woods, a veteran, has a lot of other touchdowns throughout this league, with a couple with the Tennessee Titans and a lot with the Los Angeles Rams throughout the year. And I think throughout the years, and he also played with one other team in his career, I believe. But I can't remember that other team he played for. But I think Robert Woods gets his first touchdown as a Texan on Sunday. So I think Stroud's 2 touchdown passes go to Tank Dell and Robert Woods, and CJ finds himself in the end zone on a rushing touchdown. I do have Kaimi Fairbairn missing one of those extra points. It's not something he does often, but I have him missing one of the extra points. I have Kaimi, though, even though I have him missing an extra point. I have him making 3 field goals, and I have the Texans winning 29-20. I have Jalen Petrie getting his first interception of the season, and Will Anderson Jr., the 3rd overall pick in the draft, who has not had a sack since week 1 against the Ravens. I have him having 2 sacks in this game. Texans get their 3rd straight win, and they will improve to 3-2. And that's how I think it will go, and that's how I hope it will go. But yeah, that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Texans.